Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/JustNoMil. In today's episode, my STBMIL said that wearing a white wedding dress is a Caucasian tradition and that brown people don't look good in white. STBMIL told me wearing a white wedding dress is a Caucasian tradition. My boyfriend kicked out my mother-in-law because of me. Am I in the wrong? Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. My STBMIL said that wearing a white wedding dress is a Caucasian tradition and that brown people don't look good in white. I think the title said it all. I need to rant a bit after the exhausting week I've had. I'm 35F, Arab, parents are from North Africa, engaged to a Danish Viking, M34. Our wedding is in September. Last Thursday, I had a fitting of my wedding dress. My fiancé suggested I should take my aunt since she wasn't included when I bought the dress and she doesn't have a daughter. I only took my mom, aunt, my sister who's also my mo, and my 2 bridesmaids. I have never felt that his mother really liked me, but I thought sure, maybe we can bond over this experience. When I was trying the dress on and making comments about the new alterations and mom was crying, obviously, and embarrassing us and my sister teasing her, ML was very quiet and standoffish. It was noticeable, so one of the bridesmaids asked her what she thought about the dress. She said she didn't know. Then she added she wasn't sure white is my color. The tradition of white dress came from Europe and she wasn't sure it was flattering to other ethnicities. Everyone was silent. I started laughing and told her that she was ridiculous and that she shouldn't be worried because color was fine. She insisted it was a tradition started in Europe because it complemented the skin of white women. Mom got offended and started arguing that she herself looked beautiful in her white dress and that it's the costume in our home country to wear white. Anyway, all hell broke loose these past couple of days. MIL is angry, I laughed, and is demanding an apology. She told fiancé she doesn't like me, as I suspected, and that he should at least postpone a year or 2 to be sure or she won't be attending. Fiancé wants me now to apologize to MIL for laughing, but the thing is I don't believe I did anything wrong. What she said was really ridiculous and laughable. I never really wanted a wedding in the first place. I would have been happier eloping and saving us the energy and money spent. None of us two is religious or traditional and I don't have any extended family here. He wanted the big wedding because he wanted to share his happy day with his family and friends. I agreed because I love him and this is the thanks I get? So MIL is racist and you should apologize to alleviate her feelings because she make an awful remark, that makes no sense. I think it's funny you laughed because it shows she doesn't get to you. And white looks beautiful on dark skin, she is trip pen. So she's a racist cunt and your fiancé wants you to apologize to her? I would not take one more step in the wedding direction. Y'all need couples therapy immediately. Mary, Queen of Scots, 1542 to 1587, wore a white wedding dress and it was very unusual at the time. Queen Victoria, 1800s, made it a popular color in Europe, but white as a color for wedding dresses goes back much farther than that and can be found in almost every culture. White was for the upper class because it was a hard color to get and, obviously, it got dirty easily, so you only wanted to wear it for special occasions. That's my understanding of white as a wedding dress. Your FMIL is racist and you can now proceed with wedding preparations without her. Wear whatever color you want. Dear Lord, I think white looks best on darker skin. Your future MIL is racist AF. Refuse to apologize for her racist remarks. This would be the hill I die on. And in the wise words of Kelly Kapoor, I look really good in white. If you apologize, you will be doing so for the rest of your life. She wants you to apologize after SHE made a statement about how you looked and you laughed? Joke's on her, she doesn't have to come to the wedding. No, STBDH, I will not apologize to your racist, selfish mother. Maybe your mother is right that we should wait to get married, and you can prove to me that you aren't a mama's boy. If you can't see my point of view on this, we need to get some premarital counseling. We need to be on the same page as far as how much influence your mother is allowed to have in our lives. If you think she gets a say in what we do as a couple, or what I choose to do in my life, that is a problem for me. I will not take second place to your mother. If I am not number one in your life, there will not be a wedding. Think about it. I will start looking for a therapist tomorrow. If he refuses therapy, time to make some hard decisions. The bigger question is, why are you marrying someone that clearly cannot stick up for you? You think it looks good to your family that your MIL is awful and your future husband wants you to apologize to her offensively racist behind? My mom wants me to call off the wedding altogether. She's not happy at all to have Mil in her life grinning face with sweat. STBMIL told me wearing a white wedding dress is a Caucasian tradition. The wedding is cancelled. We have unfortunately paid 20 to 30% of the arrangement as a deposit, but the wedding planner is a friend of ours. He told us since COVID many people have postponed their weddings and that people are desperate for venues like the one we've booked, so it wasn't impossible for him to find some other couple that are willing to take over with such short notice. After the huge amount of support I got here, I thought to myself that the easiest way was to show him the post and the comments. He was defensive in the beginning, but after reading all the comments he had no more excuses. He admitted that he thought this whole thing was a silly misunderstanding. He apologized for minimizing the situation and he swore that he never believed this of his mom, but now he is forced to realize that she must have acted out of malice and bigotry. He said he was disappointed in her since he never thought his mom or any of his family members would be so narrow-minded, since they've been so loving and supportive of him all of his life. He's visiting his parents today. I'm not going, and he is going to talk to his mom. When he came to the part about me never wanting a big wedding, he told me he's willing to cancel the big plans, and after talking to our wedding planner friend he told me he would pay the losses if we can't find a couple that could take over. Now to our future. I told him about all my worries and woes about how this relationship would work. I wanted to be honest and tell him that I wasn't sure how this relationship would work when I know I don't want someone like MIL in my life. He's very close with his family. I hate to see him having to choose, and I don't know, could he have two lives? I told him I have experience with bigoted people like her. They rarely change, not in their core anyway. They can pretend or be civil around you, but that wasn't good enough for me or my future children. I want genuine love and respect from the people I choose to surround myself with. He said when we're married I become his family. He actually said the day we moved in together I was his family, and that I never needed to deal with his mother, and even when if she apologized and was genuinely sorry, it's up to me if I choose to have a relationship with her or not. He said he loved his mom, but that his life is with me. He didn't want to throw that away for people who have their own families and lives and who he spoke to saw once a week and probably even less. He also promised he would be more sensitive to racial issues. Be more alert, especially when we have our own children. So now we don't know what the future holds. We talked about getting married next summer in Positano with just a few friends. The dress isn't returnable, so I can still wear it. P.S. About the laughing part, instead of getting upset and telling MIL off. I think this has always been my way in uncomfortable situations. Try to diffuse rather than escalate. Maybe I should try to face awkwardness more sternly and be more honest about how I really feel? I'm also a POC with a horrible MIL. After my BF proposed to me, we haven't seen or heard from her, even with me living within a walking distance from her house. A blessing, even if I feel bad for my fiancé sometimes. We're moving across the pond and we're planning a small wedding in south of France or Italy, but not in many years. Life is just so good right now. P.S. Your dress is amazing. I'm sure you look stunning in it, and she was just being jealous. All women are beautiful on their big day. Lean into your automatic reactions. Maybe follow the laugh up with a comment like, I think your inside voice got out, or I can't believe you're not ashamed of that. Laughter is powerful, and since it's your instinctive response, it gives you a few seconds to gather your thoughts for a follow-up. Ugh, white people that don't notice bigotry or never realized their parent or best friend of 25 years was like that are beyond clueless and into the realm of willful ignorance. Are you the first person of color him and his family has ever encountered? Why isn't he already sensitive to racial issues? What world has he been living in? F. 30, mixed race black, white, and Puerto African. Have the same problem with my fiancé. He's so oblivious or maybe just indifferent as long as it wasn't happening to him. He's getting better now and hopefully even between before we start our family. Just read original post. Wow. Darker skinned people look better in white than white people do. Fact. Wearing a white dress was started by Queen Victoria. So I guess not only should you be white, but British as well? Effing ridiculous. Sure, there was no one whiter than Queen Victoria, but FFS, you should wear what makes you happy at your own wedding. Wear an owl costume if you want. Thank you. We're renewing our vows in 2024 and I hadn't even considered an owl costume. Was going to wear my inflatable unicorn with a veil, but now I'm filled with new possibilities. Darker skinned people look better in white than white people do. Fact. Okay, but this is true. I was born white into a Cuban family and my cousins and TIAs could rock white dresses, where I just look washed out. Very happy to see this update, that you got a chance to express how you feel properly and come to a conclusion that you feel more comfortable with. Best of luck to you, and keep standing firm by your boundaries. You don't need that racism in your life, and you are doing right by yourself by making that clear. I think you laughing was perfect actually. She was angry because she was being rude and she knew it, but you laughing instead of arguing took the wind out of her sails. Being stern might be good in other scenarios, so it might be worthwhile practicing that skill, but in this situation, I think it worked well. One way is to keep standing your ground with not dealing with MIL at all. That'll help you be more stern if you do ever have a situation where you need to be in the future, because you'll have practiced it with your so. Laughing is my go-to way of dealing with bigots. Bonus points if I can convince them I'm laughing so hard I can't catch my breath. Sometimes I'll wipe tears from eyes. And then when you see them glaring at you, say, "Oh my God, you were serious?" and laugh even harder. It's really hard for bigots to recover from that reaction. OP, please take my motto. It is better to be respected than to be liked. Your future self and your children will thank you for it. I let anyone and everyone wipe their feet on my face for so many years, and then one day I completely snapped. Like almost arrested snapped. Now I am not rude, I do say what I mean in OUTLOUD, not just in my head. I am so proud of FDH for standing by you and having your back. You are a lucky woman. You are amazing. I needed that motto. As someone of Arabic and European descent, white looks better on darker-skinned people anyway. It looks much better on me in the summer when I'm several shades darker than the winter. Not that anyone cares, I'm just annoyed at the audacity of this woman. How could anyone be that racist? I'm white and I even laughed at that comment. Yes, let's put pale people in a pale color to wash them out even more. I'm very pleased to read this. It sounds like you have made good progress. As to the laughing, I think that was the appropriate response in the circumstances. I don't think it would have changed the outcome. She would have just said she was hurt because you told her off and you were rude and disrespectful. Or pulled out the "I was just joking" line when it would have been "Why didn't you laugh at my joke?" Also, do you really want to call someone out while wedding dress shopping? My boyfriend kicked out my mother-in-law because of me. Am I in the wrong? So a little backstory, me, age 30, and my boyfriend, nicknamed Bob 30, have known each other since kindergarten. We reconnected at the age of 27. During this time his mother, let's call her Betty age 60, got into a bad car accident. Bob let Betty move in to do physical therapy for her knee and recover. She lost her job a few months before the accident from showing up to work intoxicated, FYI. After physical therapy, she claimed she could no longer work and started to get benefits from the state. He never charged her rent and lived there for 2 years before I moved in. I moved in knowing she was going to live there probably till she kicked the can. I embraced the situation. She is his mother and I accepted the situation during the time. Everything was great the first 3 months. She was cleaning and upholding the house while we worked full-time jobs. After 90 days, I would get up for work in the morning. And Betty would be completely intoxicated, rambling about being depressed, how much Bob and her other children don't appreciate her, blaming her ex-husband for everything that's gone wrong in her life, etc. I would listen and ensure her that her kids loved her and tried to cheer her up. Well, that's when Bob's siblings would come over a lot more for family dinner, game nights, etc. And they all warned me about her past drug use, her being an alcoholic and never being there while they grew up. And how my boyfriend is a nice guy and took her in even though he didn't have to. They all told me terrible stories about being tied up to chairs while she cleaned, leaving them in the car for hours while she went inside of a friend's house to get high, belittling them and all around being a crappy person. So after that point on, I started to watch her a little more closely. And that's when the cleaning up the house and everything just stopped. She stayed in her room 24/7 and lived like a hermit. I started to realize if we brought a bottle of alcohol, it would disappear within a week, and if friends or family would bring over packs of wine coolers, they would also disappear if there were some left over. Betty also started to smoke pot to help with the pain of her knee. Which, whatever, I don't have anything against marijuana. The only thing that bothered me was I came home early one day and the house smelled like pot, and I got upset because I don't want the house reeking of it. So Bob had a serious talk with Betty about we don't care, just smoke it outside. That was our only request from her. She was getting out of control, was selling her food stamps for real money to buy bottles of liquor, and would be trashed almost every day. But it wasn't my place to say something to her, so Bob had threatened to kick her out multiple times in this time frame, hoping it would get through her head she needs to get a hold of herself, but she continued drinking alcohol and being out of control. So I just started to make it my daily routine to clean up the house after work, so at least it was getting done. Shortly after, Bob's sister had twins and Betty started to get better about her alcohol abuse. She wanted to be their full-time babysitter, and they made sure she followed through with her getting sober to watch their children. She was doing a great job at being a grandma and watching over her grandchildren while they worked. Well, after a few months of this, she went right back to stealing our alcohol and smoking marijuana heavily. Betty claimed she never did it with the babies around. But this is the straw that broke the camel's back. A month ago, one of the twins were sick. My boyfriend Bob was up and heard one of them crying. So he picked her up and was trying to rock her back to sleep. But she was not having it, she was screaming at the top of her lungs. So I stopped what I was doing, took the baby from him, and she calmed down. So I sat on the couch and leaned back. She fell asleep on me, and every time I would get up to hand her back, she woke up screaming again. This went on for an hour and a half. We both worked in the morning, but the poor kid doesn't feel good, and we both didn't mind getting less sleep to make sure the sick baby went back to sleep. We were also trying to help Betty get some more sleep because she was up all day taking care of them, also giving Bob's sister a break from a sick, cranky baby, and so she could get a full night's sleep at home in peace. That's what family does, right? Well, after an hour and a half of caring for the baby, Betty comes out of the room like a bat out of hell, yelling at Bob for doing her job, calling him all kinds of names and saying they are her babies to care for, waving her finger in his face. Before this situation, I've never seen her talk to him like this. He's sitting there taking her verbal abuse with a baby in his arms. I got angry, came up behind her and grabbed her shoulders and made her take a step back from towering over him. And I asked her to calm down. She turned around and started to yell at me, calling me a B***tch, how I'm worthless, never clean the house, the list was endless, and shoved me. Bob saw the angry in my eyes. Put the baby down and grabbed me. I was rushing towards her and about to tackle her because I saw red and heard the fight bell in my head. Round 1, fight. Bob was able to calm me down and sent me to our room. And that's when things got bad. They were screaming at each other about everything. I called Bob's sister and told her to come get the twins. I left shortly because I couldn't take the screaming at 2 a.m. in the morning. So I stayed at a friend's house that night. In the morning he told her she had to go and that he was tired of her crap. Gave her all afternoon till 10 p.m. to figure out a place to go before he got back home and said she better be gone by then. Betty took clothes and left to live with a meth user/dealer. We didn't know this till later. 2 weeks later, the guy she moved in with dropped all of her stuff off at our front door in a laundry basket. Rang the doorbell and left. So us being curious and Bob's sister also curious, we went through it. Found a crack pipe and her meth. So come to find out, she called the cops on herself and got taken to a rehab center and held for 72 hours. After that she's been homeless. Texting Bob, his sister, and me that we all are terrible people, she plans on killing herself, don't come to her funeral, etc. I do feel bad, but at the same time, I don't. She keeps threatening me with filing a police report because I put my hands on her. How Bob will see through my bullsh*t and pick her, Betty, in the end. I refuse to reply, but this harassment is almost an everyday thing. If it's not me, it's Bob or his sister. Are we the bad people for not letting her move back in and continue to let her be homeless? You can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped. She's an adult and it's her life. You did more already than most people would. Truthfully, I take your boyfriend's lead on this one because he knows his mother better than you. She's not only a substance abuser, but also an abuser. She has done nothing for you and her children, you don't owe her anything. She need professional help. Don't set yourself on fire to save someone else. I'm sorry it came to this, but if she moves back in without going into rehab and therapy, you will all be in danger from this woman. She has disability. There are places that she can rent from that will base it on how much disability she gets. Don't fall for her crap again. You're not bad people. Her actions have gotten her where she is in life. She did this all on her own. If she's getting government benefits, she can probably get on government housing. Block her so she cannot contact you. She's just trying to wear one of you down to take her in. Do not do it. Let her deal with her own mess. Boyfriend and siblings could probably all benefit from some therapy because of her. First, she's out because of her actions. You didn't make her a drunk and drug addict. You didn't stand over Bob screaming while he was comforting a sick child who she was watching, yet too intoxicated to hear her cries. That's all on her. I also didn't see you say you asked Bob to kick her out. He made that decision on his own. You should now block her and let Bob and Sil deal with her. Bob should change his locks and put cameras at the doors. She will show up at some point, and if she has a key, she could come in and wipe you and Bob out. Or she could lay in wait to attack you. She's not safe for you nor anyone else. You both did your part. Now it's time you have to step back and let her deal with her demons. You can't force someone to give up addiction, no matter what type it is. They have to want to get better. An addict will lie, plead, and steal anything to get their next fix. This is not a healthy lifestyle for you or Bob to be subjected to. It's unfortunate, yes, but it's not your load to carry or Bob's load either. You tried. She failed, not you, she did. Step away and enjoy your peace and quiet with Bob. She has made her choices and shown that while she can get straight for short periods, she cannot do it for the long run. Block her on your phone so that you don't have to see her texts anymore. She has no one to blame but herself. I would also suggest that you all go to Al-Anon or Nar-Anon. Well, here's the issue. She's an addict. If you let her back in, she's going to wreak havoc in your home and your relationship. She has been an addict for many years, and that is not going to stop until she wants to. You can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped. Block her number. Your boyfriend and his sister should be the ones dealing with her, and even then, they should block her for now. She's been manipulative in the past to get her way, so that is what she's doing now because she's homeless and broke, and probably needs her next fix. She needs to fix her own life. If her kids and grandkids are not a strong enough reason for her to want to change, then nothing will. Don't feel bad. Be there for your boyfriend. He will need your support. Don't come to my funeral. Spoiler alert, Betty, those people you told to stay away are the ones who would be responsible to plan and put on the funeral. If they don't go, no one will. You can't help someone that doesn't want help. You've both been more than fair with her. At some point you just gotta say screw this and live your own lives. Sending big hugs your way. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.